Hey guys, look forward to another shelf by shelf review as we're on to number 12. And yes, I know some of you are sort of like, well, you know, do we have to look down on you? You know, get up off the floor. And I see what you mean, but I've got the room in here. I'd rather just finish this shelf as I'm doing now. And then when I'm in the other room, obviously I can't do the bottom shelves in there because I've got a giant table in the way. So on those ones, I will take a photograph of the shelf and then bring the games onto the table and discuss them there. But for this, I just want to carry on with the format I'm doing. So, number 12, we got 5 to talk about here. Let's start off nice and simple. Abyss Conspiracy. If you have not tried this yet, seriously, you need to give it a look. Yeah, it's a tin box, and I wish it was slightly bigger because when you put sleeves on there, it's a little harder to fit it in the box, hence the rubber band. But this is a really cool spin-off of Abyss, which you've already seen me talk about up there that I love. It's got the same gorgeous artwork, simple card game, kind of gives you a kind of Viceroy type feeling of building an upside down pyramid of these character cards that have different abilities. But it's so simple to play, and it's got that whole mechanic from Abyss of the more choice I give myself, the more choice I give opponents, and it's just a really cool way of doing it. Barely takes, like it says 30 minutes on the box, tops. I mean, 4 players, if you've got slow people, it'll be 30 minutes, but you could have a game of this done in quarter of an hour. It's that quick. It's just really cool. I mean, this was, I didn't know what to expect because I thought, I want a sequel from Abyss, but do I want a little themeless card game? Hey, this is a pretty good going. You know, nice, something to tie me over until we get something bigger in that universe. Okay, then we've got something completely opposite of the whole good artwork thing. Innovation. This is the deluxe version, which has, I think, 3 expansions in it, as well as all the base set cards. So, you know, it's a bit bigger than it needs to be, because there's a lot of rubber banding space in there. But, this is a weird one. I have played probably about 30 games of this plus in the last 3 weeks on Board Game Arena. Before then, I probably never got this particular box out to the table. I had the previous editions, and it was just so hard because it's a 2 to 4 player game, but you really want to play it 2 player. 3 player at a pinch, 4 player, no. You never play this with 4 players. But the problem is that 2 players are hard for me to get to the table. But I think this game is amazing. Yes, it can have its random moments, and yes, there's a good bit of luck in it, but there's some great tactics that you can throw with the cards that have all different types of abilities and powers, of trying to get all the symbols in the cards so that you can do demand abilities on opponents, which basically hurt them and benefit you, and with the ones where your opponent can benefit as well as you, you got to think, well, does it give me more of a benefit than them? There's just a lot of cool stuff you can do, and that's with the base game. Here, you've then got 3 expansions with this deluxe set. Granted, 2 of the expansions I haven't yet tried. Again, I can't get this to the table very often. But I have done Echoes of the Past, because the previous edition had that, and really solid. Really like the Echoes of the Past, really love throwing it in. Unfortunately, Board Game Arena doesn't have it. But yeah, Innovation's a really great little card game. I've always loved this one. Looks like ass. It looks horrible. But yeah, it's one of those games where for once I can get past the aesthetics. Heaven and Ale. Now this one, I don't know how much longer it's going to sit in the collection, because for some people this is a darling game, and you know, we're now on to Eggertspiel. We've had Bombix, we've had Asmadi, now we've got 3 from Eggertspiel. But this one I don't know how much longer it's going to sit in my collection. Heaven and Ale is an okay Euro game. It's decent. The theme is completely gone. I mean, there is no theme in this game. Forget the heaven, forget the ale. You're supposedly monks making beer. No, you're not. You're literally just moving on this track in a Tokaido style fashion of, if you go forward, you can't go back. And you're putting these counters on your board to produce either beer ingredients for certain victory points or beer ingredients for money or whatever. And it's a puzzle game. It is a glorified Euro puzzle game which, you know, has no theme whatsoever. But the mechanics in it are pretty sweet, and there is a lot of tense decisions about how fast do I move along the track versus whether an opponent's going to nick a space I want because everything's in limited supply, and the puzzle itself is interesting. But I haven't got this to the table in a while because it's bone dry. Again, I want the thematic stuff first. The bone dry stuff just takes longer for me to get to the table. And like I say, I don't know how much longer I'm going to hold on to this one. It's holding a place at the moment, but maybe I should play it again at some point soon to see if I can rekindle it. But yeah, not to mention this was overpriced. I mean, there's so little in this box for how much I paid. In the expansion, the mini expansion with the, no, the coin burst, sorry. Well, no, same deal, but the expansion for this as well, where there's like next to nothing in it and it's priced almost like the full price game, rip off, absolute rip off. Righty, something a bit better though that will stay in the collection, at least for the time being, Coimbra. Now again, not my favourite Euro ever, but Coimbra has an interesting aesthetic, but I like it anyway. But this one's a great card tableau management game where you collect these cards, they trigger off special abilities, and going up on these different tracks allows you to perform certain actions like get money, get knights, go move around this map quicker. You know, it allows you to basically boost your actions. But it's the whole idea of using the dice to grab the cards by placing them on these locations, but the value of the die matters when choosing the cards. The color of the die matters for endgame, like track triggering. You know, like which tracks do I trigger? Well, I'm going to need a purple dice if I want to trigger that, but the only purple dice there is a 2, which means it's unlikely to get me the card I want unless I'm one of the only ones in that row, in which case happy days. It's a really cool puzzle of dealing with those dice, and I have to admit, as much as dry as this is, I mean, this has got no theme at all either. It's like the theme is completely lost. The art style is hit and miss. I mean, some will like it, some will don't. But it is a colourful game. I am a little concerned that the missionary strategy, the purple track, munchkining that, is a bit too powerful, because I have yet to lose with that strategy, and I just see it run rings, literally, around the map all the time. But all in all, I still really like this one, and would like to get it to the table again soon. And then finally, Camel Up. Yes, forget the first edition. The first edition you can throw away, the garbage cardboard pyramid and all that lot. This is the version you want. The aesthetics in this are gorgeous. The artwork's amazing. The pyramid is now plastic. The board itself is a pop-up palm tree board, which looks amazing on the table. But it still retains the hilarious fun of Camel Up with some additions. You now have 2 camels that go backwards, which throws a spanner in the works, but you also have a variant rule for 6 to 8 players where you can partner up with someone else, like handshake deal, to use their betting tiles. Because in the previous game, if you tried to play a massive multiplayer of this, you could just get screwed over by turn order and have nothing to do. But here, it mitigates that a bit. So this is definitely the version you want. It's a bit of cheap, harmless fun, but when it looks this good on the table, I want to play it more. I actually go, oh, I don't really want to play Camel Up if it's the first edition version. That's how much this one dwarfs it. So, shelf number 12, we got 4 more. I gotta admit, my back is not in the best of conditions, so maybe I might reconsider that thing about doing them on the floor. I might do actually, because got to think about my spine, so maybe these 4 I'll do on the table in there, and I'll just take a photograph of each shelf, you know, I mean, I've got to think about my health. But yeah, glad you're enjoying these videos. I'll see you on the next one.